Hi all, welcome to Tech Forum. In this video, let us see how to set up TAR-MK cold standby instance in AEM. The TAR-MK cold standby allows one or more standby AEM instances to connect to the primary instance. The sync process is one way only, meaning that it is only done from the primary to the standby instances. The purpose of the standby instance is to guarantee a live data copy of the master repository and ensure a quick switch without data loss in case the master is unavailable for any reason. Content is synced linearly between the primary instance and the standby instance without any integrity checks for file or repository corruption. Because of this design, standby instances are exact copies of the primary instance and cannot help to mitigate inconsistencies on primary instance. It means if the primary instance is corrupted, the standby instance also will get corrupted. So for this kind of scenario, we may need to think of using some backend file syncing process in a regular interval. And let's see how this will work. On the primary AEM instance, a TCP port is opened and listening to the incoming messages. There are two types of messages that the standby instances will be sending it to the primary instance. A message requesting the segment ID of the current head, the message requesting segment data with a specified ID. So the default port is going to be 8023. Okay, let us start with the setup. Need to set up primary and standby instance. This demo is again based on AEM 6.4 version. Okay, as a first step, let me go. So anyway, I am going to set up this primary and standby in the same machine. So I created two different folder. Also I am going with a new instance. So for the first step, I need to unpack this. Okay. Go into that particular part. Okay. Let me execute this command. Okay. Yeah, so it's a new instance, but if it is an existing instance, so we need to delete if there is any existing like configuration files under the install folder, the quick start / install folder. But anyway, for my case, there is no install folder, so because this is the new instance. So that is the only step it's going to be different. Other than that, all the steps are same. So now let me create a install folder under the quick start. Okay, then again we need to create another folder called install.primary under this install folder. Okay, now like we need to create the required configurations for the node store and the data store under this install.primary folder along with the standby configuration file. So let's do that. Let's start with first this standby configuration file. This is the file name. So yeah, org apache dot jacobit org segment dot standby store service dot config. So let me go and create this. Okay, this is fine. Now let us see what kind of configuration we need to keep it here. Okay, these are all the configuration we need to keep. The first one is this one, configuration dot persist equal to false. So ensure this value is configured as false. So if it is true, this will store the configuration in the repository instead of the traditional OSI configuration file. So it is recommended to keep it as false. So it will avoid the syncing of this configuration from the primary to the standby, because like if you keep this as true, the values are going to be in repository, all the repository will get synced up. So if you keep this as false, it will not get persisted to the repository, it will be kept outside. So ensure this is false. Then the mode equal to primary, then port is already I told is a default port 8023. Then another value is primary dot allowed client IP range. It will say the allowed IP range from those secondary servers. This primary is going to accept the message. So you can configure, you can restrict this value, but anyway I am going with the default one. Next one is I am going with the secure equal to false. Okay, another configuration you need to do is like a node store configuration. So this could have if it's an existing server, it would have been already there. You can just copy paste. So I am going to create another file. Okay, again the same persist equal to false, then custom blob store equal to true, then standby equal to false. So it is a primary. Okay, if you are using an AEM tar MG instance with an external data store, we need to create a folder named CRX3 under the install folder, CRX quick start / install folder, and we need to keep this data store configuration file. So let me show you what we need to do. This is the file data store.config. So we need to keep again the persist equal to false, then the data store path and min record learn. So any of this configuration is not required for my case because I am going with the local data store. So also if you are using a S3 data store or any other data store, corresponding file you should be keeping. Anyway, I am going with the default TarMK data store, so I am not going to configure this. Okay, so now let us enable the standby configuration also in the primary server. So that will help us to switch the mode easily whenever required. So for that, what we need to do is like go here, so come out of this, create another folder, install dot standby. Now under this we need to create the configuration. So the first one is again the same thing, the standby store service.conf. Okay, keep some configurations here. Okay, so these configurations are again going to be different. Okay, so again persist equal to false, the mode is standby here, so there you configure as primary, here is a standby, then primary dot host, because I am running in the same machine, so I kept this. So then port is 8023, secure equal to false. How much, what is the interval of syncing? So I kept 5 seconds. Then is the read timeout, whatever the value you want, you can keep it. Okay, the same way now we need to configure the another, this is the segment store configuration. So same configuration here also. Okay, create this file. Okay, now go here. Okay, this is anyhow going to be the same configurations. Okay, this is fine. Okay, now what we need to do is, yeah, the setup is required setups are completed. So what we did is like we enable both install.primary and install.standby in the primary server itself. So this will help us to switch between primary and standby later whenever required. Okay, let us go and start this server. So I will go here. So this should be the command to start it. Yeah, so primary CRX3 CRX3 tar. So these are the run mode we need to associate. Okay, I'm going and starting this. I'm entering that password. So it may take some time. Let's wait. Okay, the server is started now. Let me maybe log into this server. Okay, it's loading fine. So as next up, like I need to create a separate logger file for this standby process. So let me log into system console. Config manager. Okay, logger. Create no new logger. So keep it in debug for now. Now we need to keep the logger name. So you can go and keep this. ORG Apache jackrabbit segment. So it will give all the standby related messages. So the log file, let me keep something else maybe. Okay, fine, click save. Okay, fine, the logger would have created now. So now say next step I need to review this run mode settings, whether it's configured properly. Let us go to this particular, sorry, wait for it. Okay, CRX3 CRX star primary is looking fine. As a next step, like we need to go to this bundle, particular bundle slash org.apache.link setting, and just note this 17 the ID. So I will explain what is the use of this. So just note it for now. So the ID is 17. So next one more thing we will do, the configuration, the standby store process configuration. So just go here. Okay, so primary 8023.127.00 done. This is a default value anyhow. We did not configure this. Sync interval, allowed IP range, and read timeout. So it's looking fine. Now, yeah, the primary setup is fine. Now we need to do a secondary setup. So for that, what you do is go back here, go to primary. So just to copy this CRX quick start, go inside this standby and paste this. Okay, it's copied. So if you are noticing here, like I already copied this jar file and the license property. I just change this file name because I am going to use a different port 504, because I am going to set up this primary and standby in the same machine. But if it is a different machine, that's fine, like you can go with the 4502. Okay, one more step we need to follow. So I asked you people to note this bundle ID. Sorry, I think I'm doing a mistake here. Okay, so just to go here. So with that bundle ID, go to the launchpad, Felix. So go to the particular bundle. So here we need to remove this link.id.file. So just to remove this. Okay, now this is fine. Now we can start the server. So let me start the server. So because all these configurations are already available, because if you see here under this install, so install.primary and standby is there, which as I already discussed. So the same primary server we enabled the standby also. So now even in the second standby server we are enabling the primary. So whenever required we can change the server mode. So I will go here, go to this, okay, cd this. Now let me start this server. That is the same thing, but I need to change this run mode. So let me go with that. The run mode should be standby here. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the Java is now. Okay. Fine. Okay. The server is started now. So let us do some quick validation. Let us verify the run mode. Okay. Run mode is standby. Okay. Sometimes this mode is not updated. So let us do it once changing this manually. So stand, click save. Okay, this is fine. Now let us restart the server once, because sometimes if you are changing this will not take effort. So I'm closing this server. Let me go back. Okay, let me start this server. So change this to standby. Okay, let me go back. Okay, now let me restart this server. So change this to standby. wait the server. Okay, the server is started now. Now let us review the configuration. So I will go through that. So sometimes like first time the change is not reflected. So maybe you can try one more time. So obviously the change will reflect. So I faced that earlier. So anyhow, yeah. So now it's showing it's a standby. So what we can do is like as a first step we can go and check the log files. Go here. We created a custom log. You can see all the information about this syncing process here. Looks to be there was a problem. Okay, let's see that how it is going. Then I will go to the primary also. Logs. Okay, this is fine. So one more check you can do. So what you can do is you can go here, go to the main, then go to the JMX. So here if you go search for standby. Yeah, so here if it is a secondary standby, you will see only one line here with the status. So click on that. So it will show you the running, what is the status and what is the mode. Here for standby it will show like this, but if it is a primary it will show mode equal to primary. So this is fine. Now let us go to the same way to the primary and go to the JMX console. Search for standby. Yeah, you can see 3 or 4 here. So first one, if you go here, yeah, transfer segments, get head, last request, and all those things. So it means like the setup looking fine. Now go back. Now click on the next one. Yeah, the same thing. Then ignore this. Third one, this fine. Yeah, fourth one. Yeah, so here if you see running equal to true, mode equal to primary, status, that's fine. You can ignore. You can start or stop. Yeah, so this conclude the setup. Now let's see like let us verify this configuration. For that what I will do is I will go into this AEM start assets. This is the primary files. Okay, let me upload it there. Okay, upload is completed. Now let's go and see it in the secondary. Okay, let us copy this URL so that will be easy. So copy this particular URL. Go inside the 4504. This is a standby. Okay. Okay, yeah, it's good. It's already synced. So you can see this value here. So one more thing. Okay, this concludes the setup is working fine. So another thing, one more thing what we can do is we can see like how to stop this syncing. So what you do is go here, go to this same thing JMX. But I will go to the secondary one. Go inside maybe system console. Okay, go to main JMX, search for standby. So go here. Now what you do is go and stop it. Click on stop. Invoke. Yeah, stopped. Now what I do is I will again go to this primary and I will upload another file. Upload. Okay, it's uploaded. Let's wait for this processing to complete. Okay, the processing is complete. Now I will go to the secondary and I do refresh it. See, if that particular asset is not synced to the standby, so yeah, even you wait for some time, it will not happen. So what you do is, now I will go and enable it again. So go to the stop, cancel this, go to the start, invoke. Okay, now if you go and refresh this, the the request was queued up, so it should be coming in a second. It will come. Okay, yeah. So if you see here, the particular asset got synced now. Okay, so this is working now. So even you can, whenever you require, you can start that. So the later all these values will be getting synced. So now the next one, what we need to do is how this we will convert this secondary into primary. So in case the primary is having some issue, we need to convert the standby to a primary, because already we enabled the required configuration. Even in primary and secondary, both configuration required for primary and secondary. Okay, let's see that. For that, what you need to do is, as a first step, you need to stop the server. Yeah, this secondary or standby server. So I am stopping that. So after the stop the server, you need to start the server as a primary. Yeah, you can run this command. Before that, let me go here. I'll go to this standby. Okay. Now let me command. Okay, I'm going and running this as a primary. Yeah, this will take maybe some time. Let's wait. See the log file. It's looking. So yeah, you can see like this journal update and all those things related to this sync up. Okay, one more note here. So in 6.4, what I observed is all these URLs are available, but I am not able to perform any other operations like uploading or any images or modification in the secondary. But looks to be all these URLs are available. Earlier it used to be only the console, but even I don't know, maybe something I am doing wrong here. So, but for me, all these consoles are accessible, but I am not able to perform any particular operations. So I am able to sync it from the primary to secondary. But I am not able to modify or upload any new asset in the asset from this time. So okay, let me now first let me validate this particular configuration. Now if I go here, first let me check the run mode configuration. This is the one. Okay, yeah, this became a primary now. So that's one thing. Then the second thing is, let me go and even validate this configuration also. Okay, so it became a primary now. Okay, this concludes the setup of TAR MK Cold Standby in AEM. Okay, thanks all for watching the video. See you in the next video.